My whole life they didn't want me
Taste the
to do shit.
motherfucking freedom.
You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? Where you
Kind
gonna
of
go?
crazy sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
How
You
you
just
gonna
got
make
shit
your
out
money?
here push, you know what I'm saying? Me, the way I work is I keep operating because I never fail, you know what I'm saying? I fall, I pick myself back up, I keep going, you know what I'm saying? Time to march, fuck what happens, you know?
King's
You
Logic,
can't take me
Mel
down.
D.
There's no force in
There
this
you go.
world that can fucking cancel my
Next one
energy.
up.
Fuck it, you know? Let's go.
I'm back. Already twisted, no need to introduce. Get lifted one line. Political rap, milk, killing cancer like pills. Pop the general, it's arsenic. Retarded to the flame. Go against the grain, feel the same numb pain. Fuck shots, grab the bottle. Getting hollow, run for cover like the day after tomorrow. You can say it's chill, life's cold, but keep it real. Undercover, lost the battle, but still won the war. Dark side of the force, mind trick, transform. Jedi John Connor, doing what you wanna. Puffin' nails, hydroponics, getting lost in the madness. Sustained at the level that you practice. On my own planet while I bring it back to Earth. Crashing like a comet and I'm coming feet first. Fuck that, already spent and it ain't no apple pie. Try to tell the truth when you living in a
What's
lie.
up, and welcome back to another episode of Tills from the Chris. I'm your host, Chris White, Mucosal Melanoma survivor, thriver, and advocate. Get together on my podcast. We talk about anything and everything, because I leave it all out on the table. Please welcome back for part 2 of my episode with Melissa White.
Voice.
Yeah, well, Chris, I find I think I've only missed a couple due to not being well enough of our Zoom meetings, because to me, it doesn't matter how, unwell I am or how I'm feeling. This connection is so important to me with you guys. It's one of the little things that I've got to look forward to. And I really look forward to every Saturday morning, even though it's very early for me because I'm not a
No, I know what you mean.
sleeper like yourself. So I have to be ready by 8 a.m. It's a bit rough. But
you set your alarm, it recurs every Saturday morning to make sure you're up at a certain time, to make sure you're ready for this. Do you have that on your phone?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Make sure you're up for the Saturday Zoom call.
But it's important to me, it's absolutely priceless to have the support of all you guys. So I wouldn't miss it unless I
Straight up, no doubt. I mean, I really have. I mean, I missed probably a month or so of them, but it was like I had scans, and then I came back, and then I had computer issues, and then I just realized to myself that it was like it's okay. Like I'm just taking. I'm just going to take a little break from this. I mean, I'm so engaged and so involved in so many things, in the realm, and it was like it was okay. If, you know what I mean? It was just like. Psh, so, all in turn and time, but it was like the best way or the best thing to, instead of just talking about it amongst ourselves, is to talk about it with other people that don't have it, so we can further, try to, explain, for others to understand, you know what I mean? Like it's, hey, I mean, I can't, it's not like you can prevent, we got because we don't know what causes it. So it could be you, hopefully not, but something's off, go get checked. You know what I'm saying? Like minimal. I mean, like,
I just so admire what you're doing, and you're an inspiration. And that's what when I get to, Ned again, and hopefully there'll be longer between my recurrences, but, you're an inspiration, Chris, because you are, you're so passionate to try and change things for us patients, and you're just such an inspiration. But I wanted to ask you, Chris, how are you going? Like, do you have much fear of it coming back? Do you live with that worry that it's going to come back?
Like for the first year and a half, maybe, I don't know, maybe for the first year after I got out of the hospital from the clinical trial, even though my scans, that's the thing is because my scans were, for that, we're always, hey, everything's improving, but for that first year, it was kind of I was still sketchy about it. And then it was when they were finally talking about complete metabolic response and doing scans to confirm that. And then after that was confirmed, and so that was, so when 2021 started out, it was literally a year after the last treatment. And so after that, I kind of slowly started, getting into that. It was more the, same thing. It was the same belief that I always had that I was going to make. I had to put that in action to believe in myself that it's dude, yeah, you're good now. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that the treatment was that works for me is the way it's designed is like it's not coming back, and or the thing is, if it tries to come back, then it'll get eradicated before it has a chance to show up. That's how it works. That's how it's designed. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally, it's like, because they take that exact same, mutation that caused all of that, that's all up in there and everything, and they pull it out and they mutate it into the billions, but it's your own exact cell and your own immune system, and they throw it back in there. And so it's so overwhelming that it just takes it out. And so it's like, I tell people, it's like, dude, I got, what they did was they put all these Pac-Man in me kind of dudes, and they went in and they just ate everything up, you know what I'm saying? All the dots and cherries until it was gone. And like the whole thing is like, if they were like, there's any kind of microscopic thing that decided that that pop up that weren't there, this and that, so many Pac-Man everywhere, they'll just go ahead and eat it. So it won't even have it, and that's what's been happening. I mean, knock on some wood, I haven't even had a cold since last 3.5 years. But like, that's the thing. Like, and then so I finally got to a point in my head where it was like, and when that's kind of what I struggle with, is like, I've really gotten to a point to where like, I don't feel like a recurrent, it's not in remission, because remission would mean that it's dormant and it's waiting to wake up. You know what I'm saying? And that would mean that it's sitting there, but that's the thing. It's like, it's not in remission because it's not dormant, because it's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gone. It's eradicated. There's 1,000 other things that I could go get a disease from, or another cancer, but yeah, that always worries about me, but whatever. But in terms of getting this back, like, I finally reached a point to where I'm like, no, I'm not, like, I don't fear mucosal melanoma coming back, but I was such a rare case of it. And it was like, I now it's like, I believe in it works, the way it was designed to, so much that it was like, yeah, it's completely out of my brain that it was like, because it worked the way it does. And it's hard to convince people that that's how it is, because it's like, there's nobody else like that's 41 years old that is hitting their 5-year anniversary from their diagnosis, that has much treatment as I did, has much clinical decline, told to call hospice, and then still, here I am. So it was like,
that's reassuring, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And it's kind of like, as the drug that I did, gets, FDA approval, and like more people start being able to get the treatment. And the thing is, I had to go through so many other lines of treatment before I finally got into this, that it's like really like just riddled me up. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, it's like I've been through like war, and I've seen combat, but not on, it's a different kind of battlefield. It's the cancer war, you know what I'm saying? And like, and so it's kind of done that, but my whole kind of position of like, what I want to do and who I want to be, wasn't what it was like before, but it's, I got to start setting the stage, because, there's going to be other survivors that are going to have like the disease that I have, probably not as young as me, but, as I get older, I'll still be able to be that example for, the age group.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, I need to kind of write the playbook of like, here's kind of how I did this, and here's all the things that, went along with it. And, I mean, like, what are the correlations? What can you do? Here's what helps, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then, but,
do you have many ongoing health issues from the treatment?
Well, so yeah, here's kind of, in a short scope, it was like, I have my thyroid that, I've, had to get on, levothyroxine or Synthroid, from, it's been thrown off. And so I'm on steady of that. And that's going to be a lifetime thing. And then after that, I do have, I struggle with, some fatigue, and chronic pain and everything and stuff. And so that's kind of always a thing, I could go do certain kind of workouts and this and that, but like the soreness of like rehabilitating from that sometimes just puts me down for days, but, throughout my treatment and everything, I had 3 surgeries to the exact same spot in my right groin, from where the original, lymph node grew. And so I have, nerve damage to that whole right leg from the knee to the hip and everything. So I have like, partial feeling through that leg. I ended up getting uveitis, conjunctivitis on my eyesight for both eyes, prior to my clinical trial TIL treatment from all the immunotherapy and everything, which, eventually led to cataracts in both eyes, and I had to get cataract surgery in both eyes done. And so I had 20/20 perfect vision, and then I'd never even seen a eye doctor prior to the cancer, and then now I got to wear glasses, and then but all my melanocytes from, I had vitiligo from all the immunotherapy, and then after the clinical trial TIL treatment, I lost all my melanocytes, and now I'm, I got to wear, full UPF clothing, hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and everything, protect my skin. It was like, so I'm saying it was like, I don't fear about, mucosal melanoma coming back, but I mean, now I don't have anything. I can't go get sunburned and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, start getting skin cancer. You know what I mean? Like something I know how to prevent, but yeah, I'll go get burnt. And the thing is like anywhere the sun does touch, it just freckles me out like no other afterwards. And but the worst is my neck, because that's it's kind of the most exposed and hardest to protect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
gosh. Yeah, so there certainly are ongoing effects, hey?
Oh, yeah. Memory, like, and then just, permanent pain, which is hard to explain in sense because, I'm sore as shit sometimes, and they have to explain that all the different radiation, along with the immunotherapy, the chemo, this and that, but the prednisone from being, from having colitis from the immunotherapy. Like I was on 3+ months of prednisone, on high doses, trying to, taper off that, like prednisone is they're known as a miracle drug, but it's not meant for long term. Like it deteriorates your,
Yep.
So between all of that, it's like, I really love if there were like some studies to try to be like, okay, long term, health. And so that was a thing, like with this new drug, like it's not a first line of defense because you have to have a metastasis, but at least as soon as you have metastasis, you ought to be able to do it. But I would hate for anybody to have to go through as many treatments for as long as time as I did, when just as soon as they get metastasis, unfortunately, boom, you go straight to this and take care of it. You know what I'm saying? And then because the quality of life, I don't know if that was really going down. I think my entire diagnosis through everything was always like, well, like we'll just try to, I think they were just trying to prolong, prolong things.
That's right. And like you said, the quality of life, like next month, it will be 3 years for me on this journey, and your quality of life is just impacted immensely. And, in all regards, I feel like obviously with me physically because of my large surgeries, but also it impacts your emotional health, and it impacts your, your mental health as well.
Exactly.
And it's all understandable and expected too, but it's not just that physical side, is it? That it hits. It definitely is.
Yeah. It correlates with each other. If you're not, for me, if I'm not right in my head, like, I'm not motivated for my physical, it like shuts it down. Like, it's just one and one, you know what I'm saying? If I'm feeling good with one, I'm going to feel good with the other. It's going to move. But, if I'm down with one, it's going to totally be down on the other. When I'm physically down and mentally is like bums me out. And when I'm mentally bummed out, I don't want to, I have to do something extra to be able to go get physical, to bring all those, endorphins back, you know what I'm saying? Get me feeling good. It's just, and it's a self-motivation thing a lot of the times too. It's like, I tell people, I kind of joke about it, but it's really true. But I call it, because I have what you call single people problems. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any checks and balances, in terms of like, because I live alone and I'm sitting, whatever. So it's like, I don't have anybody, it's not like I come home every day and be like, spit off all my, woes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, and that's, so, and that can be compounded, you know what I mean? And then, it's just, I literally, it's really sad in a sense, but I had to recover from cancer at the same time that COVID started. So it's like, I literally say I woke up from one nightmare and another one started. So I didn't, it was like concurrent. You know what I mean? Like, it's still, to this day right now, I'm still trying to be like, it's still a dream. Is this all still a dream? Like, what the, I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. So you're a totally different person to what you were prior.
Oh, yeah. Well, before it was like, I was literally just still trying to figure out, like, what my passion was, because I would just, my whole life, it was like, be financially secure first, and then, you know, you can go do what you want, you know, because if you're not financially secure for it, you know, you got to have that security blanket. And that was just that whole, you know, whatever that was, you know, beat into me. That could be a whole nother episode, you know what I'm saying? But it was just kind of like, I always was trying to lean towards, like, you know, I don't know. So I was always I was in this middle zone of like, I'm not committing to anything specifically, but I'm not like, you know, going to leave myself like completely fucked. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to at least try to be in a spot to where I can, you know, survive, you know. I'm not thriving, but, you know, I'm not like, you know, in poverty, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I'm still hustling, doing this and that, but, and then it was just, I thought, you know, I got to this level of, all right, you know, now, you know, I was making, you know, the income was increasing and the responsibility and this and that and stress and this, I mean, but the thing was, it was like, what I was doing, it wasn't because I was just like so like, you know, passionate about it. It was because, you know, and any passion that was there is because I thought it was gonna make me the money that was gonna like take care of this and pay for that and, you know, put me in a position for this. And it was, you know, I'm not thinking about like, you know, if I really just put in, you know, people always talk about, you know, that X amount of hours you got to do in a certain field, you know, to become, you know, an expert in it, to where you can get paid for, you know, being the expert in this and that. And it was just kind of like, it's basically it. You know, you're not going to get paid for something that, you know, nobody knows you to be an expert in yet. And then even at that, it was like, you know, then you got to be like a proven, you know, person in that field. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm trying to explain like, you know, what my passion is and who I am and what I'm trying to do, and there's nobody to really like, you know, to bounce it off of, you know, to be like, or to, you know, be like, or to compare it to, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing about being an entrepreneur. It's just kind of like, you know, like if you're the first, you know what I'm saying, then, you know, you're, you know, write the book, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, you're going to probably be broke for it, but it's like this whole belief factor. And it's the same thing like with, you know, you're gonna make it, you know, and like the you know, you're gonna beat this disease because you just believe in it. And it was just, but yeah, I mean, I completely like switched gears, you know, into like, I don't want to do that anymore because it's wearing me out. I'm just really not into it. But I was like, I'm super passionate about it. I mean, this is like what literally flipped it around for me. I mean, I shouldn't even be here to talk about it, but the drug that saved me, you know, literally they're looking at like lung cancer, cervical cancer, blood cancers, like just a slew of cancers, and like, you know, all this melanoma, you know, research, you know, literally like paves the way for all these other cancer, you know, things and stuff. And like the way it's designed, when it works, you know what I'm saying? Like this is literally going to like flip the door on like.
It's a miracle, isn't it? It's a miracle drug.
Straight up. I mean, shit.
So unfortunate that we here in Australia are so far behind.
Well, that's just. It's funny though. You're 15 hours ahead in time. Like, how are you behind? And you know, what the hell? It's such an oxymoron. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. What the shit?
I had one of my somebody on my team said that it could be as far as 11 years away for us. So
what?
Very disappointing.
That's just crazy because, you know, if, you know, for example, if we start, you know, proving, you know, the drug that saved me, you know, this year, you know what I mean, and it's like widely known, and the thing was it was done in 57 locations, and only half of those were in the US, the other half were international. And so, you know, they're all over the world, and if they're, you know, that's approved, it's just like, hey, it's approved all over the world, like, you know, just gotta get enough people to go, hey, like, what up, Australia, like, here you go, homie.
So frustrating, and I know you've heard this before from us Aussies. Down here, we are just the world's leader in cutaneous melanoma.
Yeah, well, that's it, exactly. Y'all have all the skin cancer, everybody there.
We have the highest rate in the world of cutaneous melanoma. So to be, you know, that far ahead, but then in the subtype that we have,
it blows my mind.
It's ludicrous, and like
I don't get it.
We have been able to, without blowing my own trumpet, but we have made
blow your trumpet
already in we've made a huge difference in the melanoma world.
Y'all are the difference down there, I swear.
we are definitely, you know, we're not giving up. And Judy is great, who has another warrior. She here has done great things, and she's written emails to all sorts of health ministers and politicians, and just, you know, are you aware of, you know, mucosal melanoma, and what can we do? Can you help us raise awareness? And
That's huge.
we're trying to really shift things, and it's one of the things that I guess drives me as well through my suffering is to be able to be well enough to help that change, and also to, you know, be able to put more funding into research, and so that we can get these treatments, which we know work, you know. So
Right.
it's just very frustrating for us having that, because it's just so unrecognized. But the tides are changing. So
Is any of the melanoma groups that are down in Australia, do they have any you know, links on their pages, you know, for the subtype for mucosal melanoma?
Well, the only other one is Melanoma Patients Australia, and we're the ones that were able to advocate to get that Australian Zoom group.
And they got that link going.
Yeah, and that's what this webinar is going to be early August, is in conjunction with those two, the MIA, which is the Melanoma Institute of Australia, and the Melanoma Patients Australia together are doing this webinar, and they want to do a spotlight on which is just great.
That'd be, yeah,
really great.
That's awesome. Straight up.
Yeah.
I want to ask, has the game of pickleball hit Australia yet? You know about the pickleball?
No.
It's like playing like ping pong, but like on a bigger table.
Oh, and what's with the pickle?
I don't know. There's no pickles. It's like a wiffle ball with a ping pong paddle, like on like a tennis court, but like really small. And so they say it's a mix between badminton and ping pong. I don't know, maybe tennis or something, but you know, Google it or whatever.
I will. Yep.
I'm doing out in the States. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a global thing, but it's really popping in the States. It's like one of the newest, biggest like sports and stuff. But you know, there's a lot of like 5Ks that go on, like, you know, for fundraising and stuff like that. And so instead of doing something like that, you know, which is pretty common, I was trying to look out the box. So I got a pickleball tournament that we're doing, you know, and we're putting the money towards the Melanoma Research Foundation, because they have their campaign that's called Out of the Shadows, which literally goes straight towards mucosal melanoma research. And I do a lot of different advocacy things with them and all. And so anyways, but I was like, you know, this is an event where it's like, you know, you can, it's like a fun thing. I got food trucks, you know, you can always do it, but it's like a fundraising thing. It's like, you know, you just go to your, you know, I don't know. It was like a way to try to get the, you know, involvement and bring the name out. But it was like you get the sponsors and everybody hyped up, because it's like, you know, mucosal melanoma being such a small like group, you got to reach out to the bigger subgroup that we're a part of, which is the melanoma realm. And not only that, but just like the cancer realm period. So it's like, you know, and really, you know, trying to like, you know, make some noise. It's like anybody affected by any kind of cancer period, you know what I'm saying? And then you get the, you know, the talking, and you start narrowing it down. But it's like, you know, you can't just go out straight with like, yeah, mucosal melanoma, and go into like how rare that, you know, I mean, you got to start with the broad speech of like cancer period, and then narrow down to more, you know, something they relate to. And then you start talking about skin cancer, and then you start branching off of that. But it was like, you know, this, you know, we didn't really set like a dollar amount or anything, you know, and we set it up like in short time frame, and then, you know, bumped it back a month, you know, because, you know, timing and stuff. But it was just kind of like, well, you know, the worst we could do is nothing. And then, you know, if we did anything, it would be something. And so, you know, but I was like, you know, it's a you could do it. There's definitely an indoor course, but it's totally outdoor. You know what I'm saying? And then you bring in all the skin cancer folks because you get like little skin sunscreen little pumper things out by the court. You can get all that kind of stuff or whatever.
Yes. Yep.
But anyways, I'm popping it. That would be I didn't know if like what kind of little y'all have your own sport or whatever that's going down. You create like a charity event that's like not the average, but that's like really fun. Get people to get engaged, and then. Because right now, like you said, you and Judy and y'all's crew. I mean, y'all are the ones running the camp down there on the Mucosal Melanoma Survivor Squad. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep. And I think Chris, and I think it might have been Tony that suggested this quite some time ago. She said you need to try and get a celebrity in Australia that will be the voice.
Yeah.
Because obviously they listen to celebrities,
Straight up.
I think that is a really great idea, and I've got a really great, lovely cousin who done a walk last year, and she wanted to ensure that the money raised went to MM. It was really important for her that it went to mucosal melanoma funding to the place where we know it'd be used. So there are things happening, but yeah, I think that's a great idea to have that quite a bit of an unusual quirk.
Well, just something that's like out here, that's the new hot thing. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there's always a trend or whatever, but whatever's popping down there. You know what I'm saying? Like in the fundraising or the sports world or whatever. You know what I mean? Like try to find that niche. You know what I'm saying? Or that's people are gravitating towards that's popping or whatever, and then try to figure out how you can like wiggle your way in there to be like, hey, because there's people doing it all the time for their causes or their name or their brand or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's all about so you got to stick out, and it's kind of like like I said, like it's I forget what the statistics are on regular, melanoma or cutaneous, and it's just quite a bit, different than mucosal. But, and that's the thing is like, hey, like,
yes,
like you don't know if you're going to get it. And like, and if you do, you might be one of those people that doesn't recognize it. So,
yeah, well, I know here in
Australia, gotta have campaigns.
Yeah, well, less than 1% of all melanomas diagnosed in Australia are MM, less than 1%. So, yeah. It's so rare. But there are a few of us who are going to make lots of noise and
and we're loving it. You know what I'm saying? Like totally loving it. Imagine. I mean, it makes me wonder. I'm like, is there's really just that many people that are not down in your part of the world that are getting diagnosed? Or are they just haven't are they a part of other groups? Or are they just don't exist? Or are they just really shy and quiet? Or makes me wonder. You know what I'm saying?
Like we said before, Chris, usually those that are diagnosed with mucosal melanoma are older folk, and maybe they're not on social media, because I think that a lot of a lot of those that are diagnosed older, they wouldn't have the knowledge that there are these support groups available because they're not on social media because of their age.
Unless somebody's bringing it to their attention. Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Makes sense.
And like was discussed in our Zoom call this morning, I think a lot of older people ignore those early signs, like we have. And then it spreads and it just the cancer engulfs them. And before they know it, they've passed away and they've just been diagnosed with
cancer. And they don't even figure out what kind it was or where it started or whatever. It's just like, hey, it's bad. It's everywhere. Like, just don't even.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of our call, that professor said to me that day, Melissa, this will take you out. And, it's such I don't know if sobering thought's the right word, but it's just such, to think that if I hadn't have had those surgeries, I wouldn't even be here now chatting with you. It's a very, a very moment that you have that thought that if you hadn't have had, like if you wouldn't have had TILs, you wouldn't be here doing this.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt.
It's such a confronting feeling, knowing that we have this cancer that is so aggressive that unless we do aggressive treatments, we won't be around. But yeah, I'm just so grateful for your support. But Chris, I'm going to have to get going.
It's all good. I totally understand. Thank you so much for hanging out and talking and chilling and like, let's do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, Chris. It's been
no doubt. You take care, and we'll see you again soon. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Like as a fellow patient warrior, it's just so admirable what you're doing and inspirational as well. Because, like I asked you, you're always so busy doing everything and caring about everyone else. But I mean, what about Chris? Like, I know that you have ongoing effects due to your treatment as well. So, you've got to look after you too.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa. That means a lot. Thank you again. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Okay, look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure.
Okay.
We'll make it happen. All right. Well, you take care.
Okay, bye. Sleep well.
All right, most definitely you too. Oh yeah, you're starting your day. I'm ending mine.
Yes.
I got you.
It's only 11 a.m. here.
Yeah, no, I know. It's 8 o'clock. I want to be doing a few things, and then before you know it, I'm hitting the silk. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Melissa. You take care. We'll talk soon.
Okay. See you.
All right. Bye.